A recession can be a very nerve-wracking period filled with fear and uncertainty. These are often times when those who are financially unstable end up losing what little they have, such as their job, their home, their retirement savings, and a whole host of related issues seem to follow. Alternatively, those who are prepared for such occurrences are able to come out on the other side in a much better place financially than they were before, actually making a recession desirable. Take a look at these major mistakes people make during a recession so you can be financially stable during these uncertain times and perhaps help you spot once-in-a-lifetime opportunities. My name is Chris, and I help teach people about money, personal finance, and investing. If you're interested in improving your financial future, make sure to subscribe to the channel and hit the like button if this video is helpful. Panicking. This might be the first thing you want to do when the thought of being in a recession enters your mind, particularly for those with memories of the last major recession beginning in 2007. The Great Recession resulted in many individuals losing their jobs and homes, and it took quite some time for things to finally get back to normal. However, panicking is not a good idea, as this clouds judgment. This extra anxiety makes it difficult to make rational decisions. Making choices in a panic will result in unclear, rushed choices that could seriously impact your finances, and these decisions are not always easy to recover from. Instead, take a deep breath and try to relax instead of immediately bracing for the worst. This will give you some time to analyze the situation, do a little research, and plan out your next move. Not saving money. If the economy is in a recessionary period, this doesn't mean you can no longer bolster your emergency savings. Provided you're still employed, this is a good opportunity to put away what you can. Firstly, establish 3 to 6 months of expenses in a savings account that you don't plan on using. Once you reach that critical point, it might be in your best interest to increase that amount to 9 or 12 months depending on your income type before allocating additional funds to something else. For example, a self-employed individual in a highly cyclical industry should err on the side of caution and aim for around 12 months, while someone in healthcare or other non-cyclical industries won't need quite as much to be considered cautious. Remember that even if your job feels stable in the event of a layoff or decrease in income is next to impossible, that's how many others have felt during previous recessions before they were unpleasantly surprised. Stopping investing. Halting your investment contributions could be one of the worst things you could do during a recession because these situations often coincide with depressed asset prices. Those who are financially stable should continue investing during all market cycles. Assuming they have plenty of savings to cover an emergency, continuing to invest during these times could be one of the best choices they could make, and it will actually boost their long-term profits. When people are uncertain and fearful, this is the best time to invest because stock prices are usually much lower than they were previously. Down the road, when everyone finally becomes optimistic again, is when these assets will regain their all-time highs and then some. When your portfolio has lost a large percentage of its value, it can seem like you're throwing money into a black hole by continuing to invest. The best thing you can do is think ahead at least a few years' time and consider it beneficial that you're able to buy during unsure times. Making large purchases. When things start to look shaky, it might be a wise idea to hold off on any large purchases and reassess your financial plan. You don't want to make a huge financial commitment right before the economy enters a prolonged recession. When individuals are losing their jobs, incomes are slashed, all spending slows, and asset prices begin falling through the floor, this isn't a good time for large purchases. Would you still buy a brand new car or a second home if you knew people weren't spending as much money, causing a domino effect? Many of these large purchases are going to be financed, further exaggerating issues by increasing your monthly obligations. Making purchases that are hard to walk back on is something to carefully consider at any point, and even more so when consumers have an economic outlook of doom and gloom. Not increasing your income. With so much uncertainty in the market, you might think the best course of action is to keep your head down and stay where you are for as long as you can. This can include not asking for a raise, not changing jobs or positions, and not seeking new opportunities elsewhere. There are advantages to stability, or an illusion of stability, but this shouldn't hold you back from finding new ways to earn more money, both at your current place of employment and through new ventures. No matter how safe and secure a job seems, nothing is certain. Don't be surprised if you show up to work at what would presumably be a regular day on the job, only to find out your employer no longer needs you. Furthermore, by earning more money, you're able to earmark extra money for investing during a time of abundant opportunities. Chances of a lifetime don't stop presenting themselves just because the economy is no longer growing. Overthinking. During every market cycle, there are countless people who believe that this time is different. They don't believe the economy will ever get back to normal because we've just never been in a situation like this before. While there is some truth to this thought process because each market cycle presents unique challenges, history has shown that the job market, real estate market, stock market, and general economy have always returned to a normal state. You could sit back and overanalyze the situation and become absorbed in a doom and gloom mentality, or you can look at what's happened in the past and see how you can make the most of the situation. Worrying about future economic circumstances is a waste of energy that could be put to use elsewhere. After all, worrying is devoting energy to unwanted things. Many times, the recession won't even be considered official until the economy is already in a recovery state. Overleveraging. When the economy trends upwards for a sustained period of time, investors become overly optimistic. They begin to feel as though earning money through investing is guaranteed, and this can lead them to become overleveraged by borrowing money to invest. When it seems as though the economy couldn't be better, these people will buy stocks on margin and take out large loans to buy real estate. When things take a turn for the worse, the situation can turn ugly in the blink of an eye. It can become difficult to service these loans due to a variety of circumstances. Perhaps your income is reduced and you can no longer make these large mortgage payments. You might receive a margin call from your brokerage, meaning you must either deposit thousands of dollars or be forced to sell your stocks to satisfy the margin requirement. Either of these scenarios could result in a large amount of lost money. Ignoring the facts. A recession is defined as 2 consecutive quarters of a shrinking GDP, or gross domestic product. This basically means that the economy is contracting instead of growing, which tends to be the result of extremely high inflation, a drop in consumer confidence, or skyrocketing interest rates, in addition to many other factors. By taking a look at the typical recession, it will help you make better decisions and be prepared going forward. Since World War II, each recession has been roughly 5 years apart, and since then, the average recession has lasted about 11 months. According to LPL Financial, the stock market drops an average of 35% when a bear market coincides with a recession, compared to about 24% when the economy avoids a recession. While you might expect housing prices to drop during a recession, this usually isn't the case. Home prices dropped substantially during the Great Recession, but this was centered around the real estate market and issues related to lending. Recessions are actually fairly common, and they've always been a part of our economy. There's no need to panic during an economic slowdown, but steering clear of the most common and major mistakes people make during recessions will completely change your future. Instead of making uneducated decisions out of fear and panic that could take many years to recover from, you can make well-thought-out choices that will help you come out of the recession in a much better place than you were previously.